We are installing the first part of our dream van roof, all made possible by Orion Van Gear.
Our dream roof rack is going to give us over 800 watts of walkable solar, a 12-volt air conditioner, and a rooftop fan.
We are sure to hit some hurdles,
Sealant went absolutely everywhere.
deal with the unexpected,
Go hopefully finish this job before that comes in.
and hopefully continue learning more along the way.
I've never worked with 80/20 aluminum before, but now I have.
Now let's see if we can install the roof rack itself today. In one day. We are super happy to be partnering with Orion Van Gear on this video, and they are an American company. All of this was proudly made in Oregon, and they sent a wonderful, beautiful handwritten note, and all the instructions are on our QR code here, so let's get started.
The instructions say that this should take us 2 hours. Now granted, big asterisk, we are filming this, so it's going to take us inherently longer. But not only for your interest, but also for our interest, we're gonna time ourselves and see how long does this actually take.
Now that we have all of our pieces laid out, it's time to start installing the roof rack. Now, all of these materials are aluminum, which means they're lightweight but sturdy. So I believe all of the components that you see with the rods in between, which you'll see in a second, is less than 80 pounds. And weight is something that we are watching with a very particular eye at this stage of the van build.
Right now we are lining these T-nuts with the pre-lined holes so that way we can attach it a little bit easier.
We almost forgot to put the thread lock on these bolts, so let's go ahead and do that now. The Orion roof rack comes with everything you need, including the stainless steel hardware, an Allen wrench, thread locker so things don't rattle apart, and anti-seize so you can reconfigure if you want after years on the road.
All right,
First piece!
It's done.
Done!
Now about 10 more to go.
These track washers can be inserted exactly where you need them, unlike some others where you may have to push all the way from the back of your roof rails. It is so hot today. Like, it's making the whole job so hard because I'm sitting up there and the sweat is just beating into my eyes. Like, anytime I set a tool down, it's like every time I pick it up, it's just like, it burns a little bit. But we are making progress, folks. Accidentally used the wrong screws. So there's like 3 different sizes of screws, and I accidentally used the long size instead of the middle size. So we had to unscrew that, rescrew it in. Taking a little bit longer than planned, but honestly, it's moving along really fast. It's really cool to see it come together, and it's kind of like putting together a Lego set or something like that with screws and nuts, but it's just like boom, 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 working our way back. How does it look? It is coming together. Basically, I'm up here now cleaning up from my mess because this anti-seize, which is what we're putting on all of our nuts and bolts, is getting everywhere. And I don't want it to stain anything, so while it's still liquid and easy to clean up, I'm cleaning it up just by following the instructions, and they recommend just a little bit of isopropyl alcohol, so not too harsh of a chemical to clean it up because I don't want to, you know, etch away any of the coating for the aluminum or any of the paint obviously on the van. Everything's looking really good. The next step basically is to loosen all of the bolts because the whole roof rack needs to shift forward like about 1/8 of an inch. It needs to match with the seam of the van, and it's just slightly off. So we're gonna basically undo everything just slightly, shift it forward, and then we can do the very last piece, which is on the very back of it. And that should be it. Taking us a little bit longer than we thought, but honestly, most of that has just been the heat. Really, the instructions have been good. It's kind of fun putting it together, to be honest. Like, I'm kind of enjoying this. Much easier and less stressful than the flares which we did last week, where we're cutting into our van. This is just nuts, bolts, and screws. So it's kind of fun. All the gray is the anti-seize. And essentially, this line needs to match up with this bracket. So you can see it's slightly a little forward. So we need to move the bracket a little bit back. Well, almost 8 hours later, and the first phase of our dream roof rack is complete. We haven't put any of the supporting 80/20 in there or our panels, so that'll be coming tomorrow, I think. But look at that, it looks so good. We are incredibly happy with how it's turning out so far, and it's just gonna really transform tomorrow when we put in the supports and the deck panels. I'm really not surprised at all. It took almost 4 times what was planned, because I like to just double check things, and this is the first van that we are building. Could be the last, who knows? So everything is new. I've never worked with 80/20 aluminum before, but now I have, and that's one of the most fun things about doing this. Check back in mañana.
Good morning from day 2 of our roof rack, AC, and fan installation. The previous day took a lot longer than what we expected. Today we are focusing on our AC install. Now we have the Nomadic X2 AC, and we are very excited about it, but the very first step of this install and of the instructions is to test the AC unit before you install it on the top of your van, just to make sure that it works, that there's not a problem before you do all of this work. So that is what we are doing.
Now our van came with a extra battery for like an RV build out already included in the van, which we will be removing since we're going to lithium, but it's a great place to test the AC. So we're gonna be bringing this out near the van. I'm gonna be attaching this wire harness that we have. Now this came with the basically install kit, so it actually didn't come with the AC itself. It's just nice to have because it makes our lives a little easier. Of course you can create this yourself, but this has the fuse in it already, and we got a few extra things like our template with that kit. Now let's see if it works. .41. All right, let's attach it.
Yay! Ooh. That means something. Hey, the fan is going.
Is it really?
Yeah. Ooh, that's working. That is working hard.
I can feel the cold air already coming.
Really?
That's what it is. You feel the fan?
Oh yeah, that's nice. Now that we know it works, we can start the install process.
The reason why we're doing everything in this order is that we needed the outline of the roof rack to kind of understand exactly where the AC can go. We had a pretty good idea where it needed to go, but this made it sure, because once we cut into the van, there's really no going back. That's kind of where the AC needs to go. So we're basically framing it within our supports. We're making sure not to cut the supports, and it doesn't quite fit here because that's where the roof rack panels will go, and that's where our solar panels will go. So the only place for it to go is right here. So we used the template that we got in our kit to measure a 14 by 14 opening. We taped it, and we're gonna basically just drill 4 holes in the corners from down here, so that way on the roof we know exactly where this is gonna go. And then on the roof I'm gonna go up with this in the 4 corners. I'm gonna tape it off, make sure it's nice and even on both sides like we already did on the inside, and that's where I'll make the final cuts with the jigsaw.
I see light.
I see light.
That's exciting.
That's pretty close to the corner. Right.
Yeah. Great job.
Metal shavings all over me. I love that. We have a special guest today.
Sorry.
Make sure you wear your PPE as always. The metal shavings coming from the bottom are coming this way. All right, we have our hole cut out, 14 by 14 to the dot, as close as I can possibly make it. And we are taped around the square, so nothing left to it but to do it. It's always a little bit nerve-wracking cutting into the van because it's just so final, it feels like. But let's see how it goes. We prepped the inside so no metal shavings get everywhere. Let's get the hole for the AC. the hole looks so good. Next up, we just need to file away all the metal shavings and coat it with anti-rust paint.
The hardest part of this AC install might just be bringing the AC onto the roof. We'll find out though. Now the next step is for us to put this gasket around the hole that we just cut, deburred, and painted with Rust-Oleum paint to make sure it doesn't rust in the future. This gasket will help just raise it up just a little bit. And right now Elliot is cutting a little piece out of the rubber gasket, probably about 1/8 of an inch, just to let the gasket lay flush.
And I'm just taped a little bit just to prevent any sealant disasters from happening. All this adhesive sealant to just go everywhere. But I am gonna be layering it on thick. And once I take off the tape to lay the gasket, lay the sealant, I'm gonna be putting the AC on there. So that's kind of exciting. This project is very, very close to getting wrapped up. The sealant went absolutely everywhere. Just did not matter how hard I tried to make it neat and tidy. It is not neat and tidy, but I put a lot on there, so I think we are not going to have any leaks. We will have to test it later. It's time for the final step, y'all. Take the AC and let's put it in the hole. Actually, that's not the final step. The final step up here though. Take the AC, put it in the hole. All right, the final step of this phase of our AC install is to install our bolts basically from the bottom, so from the inside, to kind of like secure and affix the rooftop AC to the van, because right now it's just sitting on it.
As we are tightening up the bolts, we're a little concerned that it doesn't look waterproof or that some areas aren't touching the way that they should be touching. So what better way to test this than to water test it? So Elliot's on the roof with the hose. I'm gonna be inside to see if I find any leaks.
Anything? No. All right, with that, the first round of the AC is done. Next up is tomorrow when we install our last big hole in the roof of the van, our fan.
Yes, and then we will finish our roof rack.
Last night, I just kept thinking about the AC and how it wasn't quite right, since these kind of bolt holes, I actually don't know what this is for, they don't seem to be used at all, but since these are resting on the metal, it might actually rattle more, or it might actually not fully squeeze down on the gasket like it's supposed to. So it may not have a problem now, but it may have a problem later. And I don't know if it's important enough to do this, but honestly, there's never going to be another good time to do this. So I'm just going to take the grinder and etch away a little bit more where these bolt holes are at, so that way it can really just lay on the gasket like it's supposed to, and it will let me sleep comfortably. I'm so happy that we did that. It just seems like it's resting on the gasket a little bit better, and only a couple hours of work for the peace of mind later. So now for our next and final big hole on the roof, we are installing our Le Mans fan. This fan, as you can see, is a low profile fan. So this is not the Max Air fan, which is very popular in van builds. We bought it specifically so it would fit underneath our roof rack. All right, I have donned my long sleeve shirt, more so for sun protection than metal shavings. We are installing the fan basically in the kind of a little bit more forward than we probably would have, but just because that's a very flat area of our roof and it needs to be flat. Of course, we could install it anywhere we want because we can make the metal flat, but it's much more work. We're not trying to do much more work. Keeping it simple is the way to go for us. So I have a handy dandy protractor, I believe that's what it's called, or compass, I don't know. And I need to measure a circle around the circle with a diameter of 230 millimeters. So this fan is from the Netherlands, it's manufactured over there, and so everything is in metric units. So it's kind of fun, a little bit different. I only have one tape measure that's in metric, but that's all you need is one. Hopefully this is the fourth time we're cutting into metal in the van. 2 flares, the AC, now this. So hopefully the fourth time is even better than the last, and I think I'm starting to get the hang of it, which is pretty nice. All right, we have a hole, a circle. I think it's pretty circular. The ring actually fits really well. You'll notice there's a little notch in one side. That's because that's where the wire goes down. And I think we are good to go. Test fit looks really good. So now I'm going to paint it with our anti-rust paint like we've been putting on all of our exposed metal. Try to keep cleaning up. The metal shavings just seem to get everywhere. I wish we were in like a little bubble. I could just like bubble wrap this hole, but at least we're safe from the bottom, which is really nice. All right, so we have the base plate sealed, adhered to the roof. It looks really good. Jennifer said it looked really good from the bottom. I haven't looked from the ceiling yet. I've just been up here cleaning, trying to make sure every single metal shaving is gone. It just seems like it's so hard to clean out all the metal shavings. Like they are so tiny, they are so hard to see that it's a real challenge. I have a 20-pound weight just sitting on top of it, just making sure basically I hold it flat, it adheres really well. I do not want any leaks. I really don't want any leaks. And I'm trying to hopefully finish this job before that comes in. All of that is just Florida summer in a nutshell, which is scattered thunderstorms. And on the back of the roof, the AC looks so good. I cannot wait to put the roof rack together and all these panels once that one is done. All right, storm's here, and I'm gonna quickly screw in the top, and then we'll show you after what it looks like. Check it out, looks good. Yeah, that is so low profile. That is absolutely crazy. Geez, so the roof rack's gonna go right on top. Right on top, holy cow. And just in time. It wouldn't be a van project if there wasn't a little bit of drama. Good job, babe. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Teamwork, dream work.
Just in time. All right, let's do a vlog checkpoint with Ollie. How you doing? You enjoying watching your parents work outside? Better than them being on a computer all the time, right? Did somebody turn 9 years old a few days ago? Yeah? Are you 9? Oh my goodness, look at the gray in your snout.
Good morning from day 4 of our roof rack build.
And we are finishing it today.
I hope.
To really transform the roof of our van to our dream roof deck, it was a little bit of Tetris required, and so we needed to fit our 12-volt AC, which we just installed, our 12-volt fan, 825 watts of solar, and our Starlink. And we wanted it to be usable as like a deck so we could enjoy it when we're in beautiful locations. So we worked closely with Orion to kind of design it all in a CAD layout, and they chose a few of their deck panels and a very specific orientation to make that happen. Orion currently offers 10 different sizes of deck panels, so be sure to go to orionvangear.com and get your own configuration because every layout really is different. Now let's lay them out and then move them to the roof. I am sweating buckets up here. Oh my God, it is like, what, 10 o'clock in the morning? Feels like 92, but probably with the sun beating down, it's even more. Oh my God. But it's coming together pretty well. It's kind of like putting together a Lego set, just like the rest of the roof rack. It's kind of fun. There's a little bit more gaps than I was expecting, but I think that's gonna make it nice for when we kind of put in our solar panels to make sure that we have, basically we can optimize where the wires go and where they attach. So overall, looking good. How does it look? It looks so good from my vantage point. Wow, this is our roof deck. Now we are not going to screw the panels in at this second because I am sweating buckets and it's about to be the hottest part of the day. So I'm gonna come back in the late evening, maybe even night, and just basically attach all of these panels to the 80-20 parallel bars, the structural beams. Then that'll be done. The solar, we are gonna be doing it in a future video, so make sure you are subscribed to see that. That's gonna be basically mounted directly on top of the panels that we just placed. And then the throttling's gonna go back there. So, wow. Look at that. And that low profile fan, you cannot even see it. Kinda nuts. Wow. That is so cool. Came together so well. Make sure to stay tuned for part 2 of our Orion roof rack installation as we wrap up our dream roof with our ladder, solar panels, and rear scene lights.